I went to school in a small village in Arusha, about 100 kilometers from Mount Kilimanjaro. And my primary school life was colored with a lot of activities. But one that I remember most is playing football or soccer. I played football for 7 years. And for 7 years, I missed not a single match. For 7 years, I missed not a single practice lesson. But for 7 years, I would run around the pitch for 90 minutes, touch the ball not even once. For 7 years, I scored not a single goal. You might be wondering, why did they include me in the team? Please go ahead and ask why. I don't know. But I suspect it's because we had 11 boys in our class. 2 weeks before graduation, we had to play our final match against our rivals, the neighboring primary school. It was like Gor Mahia versus. We were all excited. The energy, the atmosphere was really good. We had our uniform ready. I was on safari boot, red socks, khaki shorts. And because the other school, it was a government school, we all had similar uniforms. To differentiate between the two schools, we had to take off our shirts. We were ready for the match. 10 minutes. There was no goal. Half an hour, no goal. 45 minutes, there was still no goal. 50, there was still no goal. It was still 0-0. 80 minutes, 0-0. And I remember on the 89th minute, I was tired, I was worked up, I was completely worn out and wiped out. And I just decided to stand and wait for the final whistle to blow. Probably we might have gone for extra time. And my friend Solo hit the ball. And when he hit the ball, remember, much as I was not good in football, I could at least tell that that ball was not going to hit the goalpost. It was going to hit me. And when the ball hit me, it went straight into the goalpost. I scored my first and my last goal in my entire football career. I was celebrated. We took the trophy home, and I was declared the best footballer of the year for one night. Football taught me several lessons. And tonight, I'm going to share with you 3 lessons that I learned and that I used beyond my primary school lives. And these 3 lessons were to wake up, to dress up, and to show up. Can you repeat it after me, please? Wake, show up. As far as waking up is concerned, I know that each and every one of us here is very good in what they do. And probably you might think that this is it. This is the top of everything. I'm at the top of who I am. But it's possible that that's not necessarily the case. I remember after completing my Form 4, my secondary education, I worked in a construction site as a stores clerk. I had this small table, a chair, and around me there was cement, iron sheets, timber, and on top we had these iron bars. It was construction material all around me, and I loved the job. If at that time you had asked me, would you do this for the rest of your life, I would have said, yes, I will. 2 months down the line, I visit my auntie who was working in a commercial bank as a manager. And when I got there, I found there was a secretary before seeing her. And she asked me, "Do you have an appointment?" I said, "No, she's my auntie." But at least she understood me and she allowed me to see her. And when I got in her office, she was sitting in this big table, running from this corner to this corner. And to greet her, I had to go around the table and to bow my head the way we do in our Maasai community. And at that time, I saw that she was sitting in what I believed as an automatic chair. Because when she turned around to greet me, that chair moved. When she turned around to the other side, the chair moved. And I said, "This is good." And I could watch my aunt addressing problems, signing papers, answering phones, and solving problems. And I said, "This is good." In fact, that was my first experience of a proper office environment. So when I was done, I left and I went back to the office. And I sat on that chair. And it was at that point that it hit me. I realized that I did not have an office. Even to go around, I had to, to kind of squeeze, to take a seat. It was tough, it was dusty, and there was this smell. And I said, this is not for me. I would like to work in a bank like my auntie. In fact, I did not even know what I was going to do in the bank. I just said I want to work in a bank and get a big table. And that gave me the impetus to work hard, to study hard. And sure enough, after 3 years, I started working in the bank. So seeing my aunt and getting exposed to what she was doing woke me up. And it's possible that you're very good and you're happy in what you're doing, but it's possible that if you look around, if you scout around, there could probably be something better than what you're doing now. Mother Teresa did. She believed that she was born to work in a church, but after 18 years, she realized that there's something else. She left the church. So it's possible that if you wake up into a new environment, you might probably discover something more. So I worked in the bank for several years, and when I started working in the bank and the years that followed, I loved it. And if at that time you had asked me, "Would you like to do this job for your lifetime?" I would have said, yes. 2011, I just lost that energy. I used to work weekends, I used to work evenings. I did not need an alarm to wake me up. But in 2011, I started using an alarm clock. I was still delivering the results as expected, but I did not have that drive. And I consulted a few of my friends, "What is going on?" And they told me that probably you have a different purpose. And one of my mentors told me, "Why don't you just start writing day in, day out, what is it that you want to do?" And he advised me that from 5 a.m. in the morning for 10, 15 minutes, just write 10 things. And I did that for 3 years, 2011, 2012, 2013, and 2014. And when I went back through all the notes that I wrote, I realized that there were 3 things that kept repeating. One is I needed to start impacting the lives of people. 2, I needed to speak, to build my public speaking skills to be able to do that. And 3, I needed to make more money to be able to do that. And I started working towards that direction. And the first thing that I had to do was to start studying and reading and attending public speaking courses. So I did Toastmasters. I did quite a number of courses in the country and outside the country. But remember, I did not quit. I still continued doing my job. And so that for me was what I would call dressing up, building the skills that I needed to get to another level. Look at your neighbor. Does he or she look good? Thank you. So dressing up for me, and probably dressing up for you, is building that skill so that you look good before your customers, you look good before your employer, and you look good before the community around you. And that's exactly what I did. And I realized that when I built these skills, it opened more opportunities for me. And that led to my third lesson, which is showing up. So after building the public speaking skills, I started speaking and mentoring and helping young people, helping anyone who needed help to take whatever they were doing to the next level. And when I started speaking, I had to encourage myself because it was quite scary. And this is where my third lesson comes, which is showing up. And I remember when I spoke in my first event, I gave a speech to a group of people. It was around 50 young people. And I gave what I would call a moving speech. Because when I showed up to speak, the room was full, just like what we have today. But as I continued speaking, people started moving out of the room. And therefore, a moving speech. There were just a few people left, and I asked, so why are you still here? And they said, we are speaking next. But I continued showing up. I did not give up. As I speak to you today, after showing up severally, after speaking severally, a lot of things have changed in me and around me. I've been able to speak to probably more than 30,000 people in more than 10 countries. I wrote a book aimed at helping young people, titled From Campus to the Boardroom. But something really interesting happened. My performance at work just improved. I told you that I lost the energy, and the energy just came back. And I still continue doing the banking work, and I still continue delivering. So I'm doing well at work, but I'm also doing well in the community. In fact, out of these skills, I was interviewed to a job for the same institution. That's the one that brought me to Kenya. I work for the African Development Bank as a regional chief procurement officer, supporting our offices in Kenya and 7 other countries in this region, just by showing up. Now, I know that most of you have achieved a lot in life, be it in business, be it in your profession. But what I would encourage each and every one of us, if you're in business and you see a tender in a newspaper, show up, try it out. If you're looking for a new job and you see a job advertised by international organizations, show up, apply. If you're single and ready to mingle and you're looking for a long-term relationship, show up. Show up. Talk to her or talk to him. Because that's the only way to take it to the next level. So as I finish, what is your football game? Whatever it is, whether it is raining, whether it is cold, whether it is windy, whether it is sunny, remember 3 things. 1, 2, 3.